This is how my brain works, okay? This is this is a mess. Do you even know what this series of number means? No, me neither. I've no clue. But it means summit. So I pleasantly got more time off work. And what does that mean? Torture. It means torture. I that's what it means, unfortunately. I don't know why, it just does, okay? Okay. I have a tendency to go through hobby for hobby, but for like months, since January, my mind has been on animating and animating alone. I animated a little bit when I was a kid. I was obsessed with Disney. Like, obsessed. I wanted to animate for Disney. And then they started doing all the, you know, the shitty 3D animation, and then I wasn't interested anymore. They ruined my dream. The people that gave me the dream took away the dream, okay? Why'd they do that? I don't know. Why they do that? So I decided to spend 7 days just animating, because all the stuff I did in the past, it's shit. I looked it over, it's shit. I wanted to see what I could learn. Just 7 days of all I do all day is animate. Of course, excluding eating and pee breaks, because that would be inhumane otherwise. And I know I said torture, but it's not that bad. So no gaming, no whatever. If I go on holiday, I'm animating in the hotel room. I'm animating in the cafe. The coffee? No, I get coffee at the cafe. The words mixed together. It's fine, okay? Don't think too much into it, okay? It's fine. So I was gonna film a little segment after each day to show you what I've got done, but that is unproductive, improductive. What's the word I'm looking for here? You know what I mean, right? So instead of doing it at the end of the day, because obviously I'm tired, so I decided just to wait until I've got all days done and then go back and look after each day. I'm not looking after, look over each day. I'm tired. So the animation, I didn't want to just animate random things throughout my 7 days. So what I did is I found a song I had been obsessed with for God knows how long, and then I decided to just animate to that song. I'm gonna behave and not put the song in my video because I have not had time to ask the curator for permission, and I feel a bit bad. Even though it's a small clip, I feel bad doing it because she worked hard, but I will link it in my bio if someone wants to go check the song out. It is a really awesome song. I really like it. So 7 days, let's see what the fuck I learned. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna start off by saying I was editing this video when I learned that Procreate Dreams is coming out. So this video is basically me animating in normal Procreate, and they decided to betray me by making Dreams afterwards. Though yeah, we're not gonna talk about that because I'm a little bit salty, I'm not gonna lie. Because this, to me, was like when the idea came and I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited. I spent 12 hours, give or take, because I forgot to pause the timer for when I was eating. So it's probably not 12 hours because obviously dinner, you gotta make it and eat it. And you gotta think, right, there's 24 hours in a day, right? And you gotta think 12, okay, you sleep for 12. Normal people sleep for 8, sleep for 12, animate for 12. I'm not gonna lie to you, during time off work I will sleep for 15, okay? So some of these days it don't sound like I spent that long animating, but when you take in consideration I'm constantly sick, I've been sick for like a year and a half, man. I sleep for 15 hours if I can, okay? just understand that. Alright, so right, okay. So the one I've got personally with me now is a little bit edited since the one I did on day 1 because I went back over it a little bit. And this is actually based on a real building that I went and visited. It is a beautiful fucking building, to the point where even films have used it. Films and TV shows have used it as a location. So 3 of the Harry Potter films were filmed here. The area outside was used in a Christmas special of Doctor Who, and the crypts of this cathedral itself was used, I believe, in a Christmas episode of Sherlock, the BBC Sherlock. And it is a magnificent fucking beautiful building. So hopefully you can tell which room I used. It should be obvious, but obviously I edited it. I put a throne at the end. What I will say though is I forgot the symmetrical tool existed. So when I tell you I drew the building both sides, which is probably why it took me 12 hours. I drew the building both sides because my dumbass forgot that the symmetrical tortoise existed. I could have just drew one half and it drew the other side for me, but no, I'm dumb. Okay? Let's just make that clear. I'm dumb. So the song in question, I was animating this too. It starts off literally just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a bum like noise, you know. I mean, it would be easier if I play the song, but I think it's just gonna be funnier making me make random noises, in all honesty. So the cathedral lights up at every sort of gong noise. Bum bum bum. So first thing I did was learn how to animate a flame. So that was nice and small. That was nice and full. That was nice and small for day one, just having 3 flames flicker from one to the other and then duplicating that animation across a series of candles and then a series across a room lighting up. It was nice and simple with a little zoom at the end. It took me a few days to work out the zoom. So right now you've got the shitty you're looking at the shitty version, and then in a few days time, I mean in a few minutes, when you look at a different day, you get the less shitty version. Okay? Right. There ain't much to say for day one, I'm not gonna lie. Right, so day 2. How long did I spend on day 2? I'm not gonna lie, I stopped using a timer pretty soon after day 1, because when I saw 12 hours and realized I hadn't paused it at all at any point. A random hiccup, sorry, there's another one, I can feel it. When I realized I hadn't been pausing the timer, I realized it's not gonna be accurate because I'm gonna forget to pause this timer whenever I pee, whenever I go eat. So I started making notes instead. So every time I got up, I don't know why I would remember to make notes every time I get up, but I wouldn't remember to pause a timer every time I get up. I don't quite know how that works, I'm not gonna lie to you. But just to let you know, this right here is my planning the animation. This is how my brain works, okay? This is a mess. Do you even know what this fucking series of number means? No, me neither. I have no fucking clue, but it means summit. Alright, so day 2. Day 2, where is day 2? So this is funny, I put 7 and then a question mark. This is such a good experiment. Right, so day 2 is approximately 7 hours. Also I've got here day 1 9 hours question mark, because I think making dinner, I also obviously made actual dinner that day, so I took in consideration that dinner would have took me a while to cook. So obviously I did make a note of what I actually zoomed it to be, so about 9 hours day 1, 7 hours day 2. So if you think you got the cathedral, you got the throne at the end, which I totally forgot to draw her at the end, by the way, that is my bad, I don't draw her on any of the days. And she's asleep. She's just got a little hand twitch to show she's waking up. And the little rings, because these are basically my own characters, the little rings on her hands is like, it's part of a world I've created with witches and such, so the little rings on her fingers basically means that magic is activating. So every witch has a tell and to show that they're using magic, and the tell for her specifically is the nails on her fingers, her fingernails. Nails on her fingers. So that is her tell to show that magic is being used. So in terms of learning how to animate, obviously the best way in my eyes learning how to draw in at all would be tracing. I know tracing is a huge grey area. Some artists say absolutely not. Some say for learning purposes. I am the learning purposes. I would never trace something for commercial use. I would only ever trace something if I am learning. Let me make that very, very fucking clear to you, okay? Learning only is when you trace things. Okay? Okay. So, even though I say that, the method of animating I chose is rotoscoping. I think it's called rotoscoping, I'll have to double check. It basically means drawing over existing film. So technically, it is a legit animation style, even though I say I only use it for learning. I'm just gonna end up contradicting myself at this point, so let me just carry on. So, I'm out of breath. Fucking hell, I am out of breath. I'm so unhealthy, I'm so sorry. So I used my own face with this, but I don't always have the nicest jawline at some angles. I do at some angles, but not all. So I end up editing the jawline a wee little bit. Do I have the... I do not. Why do I not have it? Ah, I do have it. So in order to edit the jawline and get consistency with the jawline, I ended up doing a pink dot system. It sounds a bit weird, but hopefully it makes sense when you see it on the screen. So I drew certain points over my existing face. For example, carved. I would do a pink dot here and a pink dot here, and then instead I would draw a straight line from those dots. So first I would make sure that the pink dots were consistent on every single frame and make sure the pink dots flew perfectly okay. And then I would change the curve of my jaw into a straight line, because I know those pink dots are consistent, so I know I've done the pink dots correctly. So then I can go ahead and trace over the top and connect those dots up in whatever shape I want. So that's how I made it easier for myself on fixing my jawline, because I don't always like my jawline. I also changed my nose. I've got a very upturned nose. Honestly. And I also slimmed down the hand as well. I've got tiny hands as it is. I don't know why my hands look big. I think it's just, I don't know. I ended up cutting this file down into 2 because Procreate has crashed on me before when I had too many layers in it. So I was paranoid that would happen. So I split this file down into 2. They're also backwards. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't once flipped it the correct way round. I'm so sorry. Right at the end, I'll flip it all around. Is it fucking annoying? Just... if I export it as a ping pong, actually, I won't have to flip it around, will I? I'll do that. I'll export the newest file as a ping pong so you can see it the correct way around at the end, okay? That way I don't need to flip all the layers. I can just wait for it in reverse and cut it. You know what I mean? It's fine. You'll get what you want. Okay, so that's day 2 is basically tracing my face. Exciting, isn't it? Right, day 3. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's the exact same shit, just more detail. So what I wanted was to simplify this to hell and back to make it more cartoonish style. However, I took so long on getting the realism correct. So when it came to simplifying it, I felt like I didn't have time, because I always start with realism and go to cartoon rather than the other way around. I'm trying to start with cartoon, but I always go with realism first. So I didn't have time to simplify it, unfortunately. I think the next time I do a project like this, I will probably not rotoscope at all. I wouldn't rotoscope at all. I would still film myself doing the movements as a reference, but I would sketch out every frame as little stick figures first, so I can go straight into the cartoon look and not so much the realism look. I think that's what I would do next time if I was to do this project again. So yeah, exactly the same, just more detail. Too much detail, if anything. Right, day 4. Please don't tell me it's exactly the same shit. More detail. Right, so day 4, again, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just more detail. I can't even see what's different. What's fucking different? What's fucking different, mate? Oh, I did scars. Is that all I did? You lazy fucking bitch. Again, I went with the pink dots. I used freckles on my face to decide where the scars were gonna go. So using existing freckles, I used the pink dot system again, made sure it flowed nicely whenever I played the animation, and then I sketched and connected those dots together so the scars were more consistent. And then I did a new seed of, you can see I did some of the line art, but a lot of it is sketches. I was actually enjoying this one specifically, which is why I started doing proper line art on it. So it's just someone passing her a glass, basically, technically a potion, but a glass all the same. So that was an 8-hour day. I enjoyed that day enough to do line art, which is good. Day 5, what's day 5? Day 5 was another 8-hour day. It seems like this is my average right now, is 8 hours. I finished the line art on that one clip of the potion being passed and her spinning around. I removed her specifically, simply for ease. I don't know, man. I just didn't like her in it. And then, no, I didn't enjoy this day at all. Is this the day? So day 5, even though I spent 8 hours on this day, it was probably my least favorite day. I did not like it. So the first clip I finished the line art and that was okay, but then I felt like instead of going back and line arting things, I need to push forward and keep pushing the scene forward rather than making things pretty, and unfortunately I feel like that was the wrong choice. I think I was thinking more of story progression than I was improving my skills, so I decided to try a transition scene, which was essentially her drinking the cup from 2 different angles and her lifting her hand for it to go on a different side view, and I did not enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie to you, I felt like my mind was elsewhere. I think that shows in the work as well because it's more stiff you can very easily see what I enjoyed doing and what I didn't enjoy doing. So on day 6, because I hated day 5 so much, I decided to make a decision and actually do what I wanted to do, to not think about story progression so much and instead to think about what my brain was focusing on, what it was excited about. So I decided to go back over previous scenes and basically start the line art, start the shadowing, start the shadowing. So on day 6 we had 2. Yeah, so you can tell I enjoyed day 6 again because I actually animated for 9.5 instead of the 8 hours. So I animated for an extra hour and a half, which doesn't sound like much, but when you've been animating for so fucking long in a row, it gets tiring and your back hurts and you get sleepy. I always want a nap. So I started the shading on that. Before I did the line art though, I did go through and add some more hair because I didn't have the hair completely finished on the first 2 scenes to begin with. So I did in fact go through the hair first and then start the line art and the shading. That's only on 1 scene though with the line art because doing the hair first was stressful. There was too much detail in this, way too much detail. I did way too much. I have regrets. Right, then on to day 7. So, I was in like 2 minds about day 7. I was like, oh my god, so I've not got to the point in the story, the intro. I wanted the intro of the story done. I was nowhere near. I needed a scene of her drinking and it go blah. I needed to finish the line art and the shading because that's where my heart wanted to do. And I was like, my goodness, she drinks this potion, right? She drinks this potion, right? And then she has a magical girl scene. Do you know how much I want to animate a magical girl scene? Do you know, right? How excited I was about the thought of that. But there were scenes in between now and then that I had to get done before I felt like I could do that, okay? So, I did this shitty thing and I did not like it. You can tell again, I was not enjoying myself because it's so fucking stiff. And it's the scene where she's drinking the potion and it's just blah 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 blah. That, okay? Because I'm not gonna lie, she doesn't have a heart. There's a big hole there, okay? And it's just coming straight out. It's just, she's a mess, okay? She's a mess. So, I needed to do that, but because I finished the line art and the shading and the background of 1, doing that next scene was not fun. I'm not gonna lie, it took me 20 minutes to do the line art and barely an hour to animate this. This was the easiest thing. It was the easiest thing, yet it has the most frames out of any other thing. Why does it have the most frames? I'll tell you why. In Procreate, you can't have, it's not motion graphics like in Flash. When I was young, I used to animate in Flash. Adobe don't do Flash anymore. You can choose something and get it to move from 1 to A to B by itself. But in Procreate, you gotta move it yourself in every frame. Unless there is a thing that I could have done to make it easier. But you can't work outside the canvas either in Procreate. I heard you can in the new Procreate Dreams, which I'm very excited about. But right now, Procreate deletes anything outside the canvas. So it's bullshit is what it is. It's fucking bullshit. But anyway, day 7, I was stressed because I wanted so badly to animate this magical girl scene. You've no fucking idea how much I wanted to animate this scene. And you go, but obviously there were other things I wanted to do. My heart was set on multiple things. I had done the thing I didn't want to do, which was shit, and I hated myself for it being shit, even though it only took an hour of my time. And this was another like 9-hour day, by the way, so I was just like, am I going to have time to animate this magical girl scene or not? Will I have time on this final day? Because it needs to get done. It needs to. It just fucking needed to. I was so excited. But it didn't. It fucking didn't. Because I animated for 9 hours and I just couldn't animate anymore. Because I had put so much detail into the previous ones that they took longer. And I thought, you know what, this hand witch, it won't take long. I've already done most of the line art. I just need to do the shading and I just need to put her head there. That's all I need to do. And then the background's already made. I just decide which section of the background to use and I pop it on there, and that took another hour, you know, that's not long. And then I thought, let's just start shading this hand that is holding the glass, and then that took a really long time. And I didn't have time for magical girl sequence, and I'm very upset by it, okay? You have no idea how upset I am, but I'm upset. I wanted so badly to animate that scene, but I put so much detail into anything else. I had screwed myself over by giving myself too much work that my heart was set on 3 things at once, and even though I got a lot done, it just wasn't good enough, man. Like, I couldn't even finish the shading. I had about 10 frames left. 10 frames of no shading. That's, and you can see in there exactly like how long the hand doesn't have shading for. It's literally just for a split second, but that's 10 frames. That's all that is. So you gotta realize how long it takes to shade every single fucking frame. But I had fun. I had fun. I didn't get to do my magical girl sequence, but have I even explained why she needs a magical girl sequence? I haven't. I mean, it's not really necessary, but she drinks the potion, and then she turns into how she used to look when she was healthy and not dead, I guess. I mean, it's just a glamour little spell thing, but it's not important. But I will animate this magical girl scene. My heart is on it. I have a hair on my hand and it feels like a spider. Can you not? No thanks. No thank you. I need to animate this scene, but I need to practice some more. I need to simplify things more. Maybe not the hands are beautiful. I need to simplify the faces more. So it is sad that I couldn't do the scene I wanted to do. I am very sad that I could not animate this magical girl sequence, but it is on my list of things to do. Not in this book. This book's shit. This book's random shit. I don't even know what's in that book. It doesn't make any sense to me anymore. But as a final, let me get these scenes in the correct order and let me play them from start to finish for you. I'm sorry the song is not there, but please go check out the song because it is an awesome song. You're just gonna have a random song in the background that just happens to be playing in this video. I'm so sorry, but yeah, I feel rude using a song without permission. So here you are, and then I'm hoping, I say hoping, I know I'm gonna do it. Procreate Dreams has come out at the point I'm posting this, and that's next time I've got some time off work. I am diving into that like no tomorrow. That is where my heart is right now. I need to play with dreams, and annoyingly that means probably everything I've got on Procreate currently is probably null and void, but that means I can start afresh. That means I can start with the new information I've gathered. Have I really learned anything? That's the question. Have I learned anything? I'm sure I have. I'm sure. Got to, right? So even though it was potentially a short, little crazy video, thanks for joining me, I guess. I hope you stick around. I'm looking to animate a lot more in the future. I've been, usually when I get a hobby, it comes and goes within a month, but animating I've been thinking and doing since, I don't know, I even animated a bit for Art Fight in July, which was a lot of fun. So it's a thing that's consistently on my mind currently, which is good, and it was also consistently on my mind when I was a child, so I don't think this is a hobby I will be losing anytime soon. I will be animating a lot more in the future because it is a lot of fun, so please join me on that journey. Okay? Okay. Bye-bye.